Good afternoon, ma'am. Good day. Um, this is my second video of explaining or discussing the 2D array task. So let's begin to type all the code. The constant and int matrix is a row. Row equals 3 is a number of rows in the matrix. The cost and int matrix columns is equal to 3 is number of columns in the matrix. So that's why put the matrix row and matrix column. Then to the next, and the next line is we're gonna function to display the matrix. Try to function the display matrix. Avoid display matrix int int matrix columns and int number columns, and the next is for int I equals 0 because I less than number rows. Then I plus plus for the columns is for int j equals to 0, less than matrix columns g plus plus. Then c out matrix is ij. Print edge elements of the matrix. These are the print edge element. These are the display of the printed element of the matrix. Row and columns. Next row is function to compute and display the sum of each row in a matrix. The, it, i-display natin yung sum in each row of the matrix. Avoid compute and display rows sum, int matrix and matrix columns, int rows and cout then less than row sum. Then the function to compute and display the sum of each row in the matrix is this row is representing the sum of each row of the matrix. The display of the sum of each row is a matrix, and variable the number the code of int row sum equals to 0 is available to the store the sum of the current row, and the row sum plus equals to matrix ij is add each elements of the row of the sum. And the next line is a cout equals to cout less than row sum, and less than the by print the sum of the row. The next row is how to function to compute and display the sum of each column in the matrix. Function to compute and display the sum of each column in the matrix. First is void compute and display column sum. Int matrix and matrix column, int num and rows. Cout and column sum for int j equals to 0, and j is matrix columns j plus plus, then int column sum equals to 0. The int column int column sum equals to 0 is a variable to store the sum of the current column. So next is for int I equals to 0, and I is num rows I plus plus. Then column and sum plus equals to matrix I and j is add each element of the column to the sum. So that's this one. Can add the column. gonna add the elements of the column of the sum and the rows. Then next is see out columns sum, then print the sum of the column. The next row is function to compute the sum of the main diagonal elements in a matrix. The next column is showing the functional to compute the sum of main diagonal elements of the matrix. And int compute main diagonal sum, int matrix, and matrix column int size. Then the variable of the store of the sum of the main diagonal elements is int sum equals to 0. Then adding main diagonal elements to the sum is sum plus equals matrix ij. Then return, then sum, then close parenthesis. The next row will be the function to compute the sum of the alternative diagonal elements in the matrix. I will display the variable of the store, the variable to store the sum of the alternate diagonal elements, and the add each alternate elements to the sum. I apologize for my font size of my C++ Droid. So this is the function to compute the sum of alternate diagonal elements in the matrix. Int compute alternate diagonal sum, int matrix, and matrix columns int size. The variable to store the sum of the alternate diagonal elements is int sum equals to 0. And add each alternate elements, diagonal elements to the sum. Sum plus equals matrix I size -1 and -I. And the next row will be the function to search for a value and the matrix both search. Function to compute, to search the value of the matrix. The bool search value, int matrix and matrix columns, number rows, and int value. Nt number of rows, I++ for int matrix columns. And the return false, the return true is return. The return true and the return false. If the value is not found, the return is result as false. If the value is found, it will be returned as true. The next row is a function to short the matrix in ascending or disascending order. By the way, the general term of ascending and disascending is smallest to largest, 0 to 9, or A to Z. And the disascending mean large to smallest, 9 to 0, and Z to A. Or Z to A. Ascending order means that the smaller or the first or earliest, and the order will be upper at the top of the list. And the disascending, it means the last and the last is the first, and the last is the first is the last. It's like it's changed the situation of the disascending and ascending. The void sort matrix, int matrix, columns, int number rows, both ascending. Ascending is 0 to 9 or I mean A to Z. Int size na no numRom o matrix columns, int ptr rent cast int matrix. The short ptr and ptr plus size is a matrix in a short ascending order. In short the matrix ascending order. Then the matrix sorted in ascending order is short the matrix in display the sorted mass ascending. The short PTR and PTR plus size is known as ascending order, and the short PTR plus size and greater is matrix sorted in this ascending order. And the next row is it will be the compute and display the row sum. The display matrix and num rows is a display the sorted matrix. It will display the ascending order and disascending order of a column, row and columns. Int numbers and int matrix rows, matrix columns, column out C out, and enter 9 numbers is for int equals I equals 0 and I is less than matrix row. For int j equals to 0 and matrix to column, and cn greater than matrix. The cn matrix is read each element of matrix from user. It will read the 9 numbers that will give the result. Then it will display the 9 numbers, then result of the elements of the matrix user. Then the cout matrix elements endel display matrix row, compute and display row sum matrix and matrix row, compute and display columns sum matrix and rows. It will display the sum of column of the sum and the row of column sum and row of sum. It will compute and display the row of sum. The compute and display. It will display the row of the sum that will display the. It will display the row of the sum and the column of the sum. Then int main diagonal sum, compute main diagonal sum matrix and matrix rows, cout sum of the main diagonal. The cout matrix element and display matrix row. It will display the matrix elements, then it will display the row and sum matrix elements, then compute the display the column of the sum, then compute and display row sum matrix and rows, compute and display the column sum. First is column, row, then column, then matrix row. Int main diagonal sum equals to compute main diagonal sum matrix and row, cout of the sum of the main diagonal and the main diagonal sum, compute the sum of the main diagonal, then it will display as it will compute the sum and it will compute the diagonal and the sum, then it will give the result of the sum and diagonal. Then int and alternate diagonal sum, compute the alternate diagonal sum matrix row, cout sum of the alternate diagonal. The first one, the last one is it will result as sum of the main diagonal. Then the second one is sum of the alternate diagonal. Alternate diagonal is known as main diagonal or primal diagonal. And I mean the main diagonal is known as primary diagonal. And the alternate diagonal repeatedly change one of in another, and it will give a result of an alternate diagonal to matrix row. And int value, C out, enter a number to search in a matrix. Cn value and Cn value, then search of the value in the matrix and display the result. And then search of the value in a matrix and display the result. Um, if search value matrix to row and value C out number found, and it will result as an found na a number found. If the number is found, it will result as true, and if the number is not found, it will result as false. And C out not found, and short matrix and matrix rows, so short matrix and matrix rows false, and I mean short matrix row true, and short matrix row false, and return 0. And this is the result. And enter 9 number. And this is the result of the code of this is the result of my assignment task and 2-day array task. Screenshot. All This is all my discussion about 2D array task.